If you ever see me wearing a dress, you know that I'm at the very end of my laundry. I haven't been doing laundry the past couple days because we wanted to test our gravity-fed water system to see if we can get it to run our washing machine. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to take a water level here. We're going to go down to the house. We're going to see if we can get this thing started, talk a little bit about the washing machine that we have and why we chose that one, and we'll see if we can get her to run. Make sure you guys stay tuned to the end of this video because we're going to do a quick Q&A answering a lot of the questions that you guys had about our water system and why we chose to do these barrels and just a lot of the questions you guys asked on the last video. So look for that at the end of this.
All right, I'm going to measure what we got in here to start with. 11 inches from the water level to the bottom here. So each inch is about, what I say, 3.4 gallons between these two barrels. So we'll take another measurement after the load of laundry and we'll be able to determine exactly how much water it used. So let's go do it.
Now we moved here off grid. There are many different ways of doing our laundry. We could have done hand bucket hand washing. That was not an option with a family of 4. Another option was to get one of the old Maytag ringer washers. The problem with those is the energy consumption. We didn't think it would play very nicely with the old solar system we had, although it would probably work with the new one that we have now. But since we were operating for 7 months with the old solar system and we didn't know how long it would take to get this one, we wanted to get something that was super energy efficient, and so we went with the Maytag Power Wash, some model number MVW something something something. But the reason we went with this one is because it is rated really highly for being energy efficient, and so that's why we went with this one. The downside to this particular model is that it is highly electronic. So a lot of people watched our how to do bucket laundry video and left a lot of comments like, why don't you just add water to your washing machine and just do it manually? With this particular washing machine, it's highly electronic, and so it weighs the amount of laundry in there, and then it adds or reduces the amount of water according to the load size and also according to the soil levels in there. It throws error codes whenever the water level is off at any point. So adding water manually is not an option for this type of washing machine. So that is why we did not add buckets of water to this. That's why we're doing hand laundry, or laundry by hand whenever our water froze over the winter and for this past week. So right now we're going to test our gravity fed system and see if that will run our washing machine. All right, here we go. You can see right here where it's sensing the load size, and that'll determine how much water. All right, here we go, it's filling. So even though we have only about 25 to 30 psi coming from the rain barrels, it is working so far. We're going to check back with you and see if it keeps running. All right, 24 minutes left. We are on rinse cycle. So far, so good. Washer just ended. We've got clean laundry.
How clean?
Oh. Not too bad. Smells good. Smells good, looks good. Alright, so we're going to go to the top of the hill and see how much water that it used. And this will help determine how much water we need to have up there for any future loads that we do. That combined with knowing how much we take for a shower, how much we use to flush the toilet, we'll be able to judge how much water we need to keep up there in those containers so that, you know, say we don't start a load of laundry and then we run out of water. So let's go up and see how much water we used. So our deck is a bit of a laboratory right now. All kinds of projects going on. Hopefully at some point we'll get it cleaned up, but We're going to be hanging our laundry on these lines as opposed to outside because it's calling for thunder showers the next 3 days.
I named another chicken.
In case you're wondering how we can tell what the weather's going to do around here, our weather app on our phone's not quite reliable, but what is always reliable is our Appalachian weather stick. If it points down, it means it's going to rain. If it points up, good weather.
Right now it can't decide what it wants to do.
Oh, it's pointing down.
Oh yeah, I guess it is. Okay, when we started, we had 11 inches from the surface of the water to the bottom of this cap. Now we're going to measure 19 and a half. Every inch in a 2-barrel system is about 3.05 gallons, so that's about 26 gallons we use to do 1 load of laundry. The water level is about right here now. And it was up here. I used a lot of water to do 1 load of laundry, and it was on deep fill, so it's about as much water as that washer would use. We definitely got to go get another load to top off. Then we got to get to work to get that spring fixed, so we don't have to use this anymore.
So yay, I have pants coming as soon as they dry. It'll probably take about 24 hours to dry in this kind of weather. It's pretty humid today. Like I said, it's going to start raining probably in a couple hours here, so under the porch it'll probably take about 24 hours for the clothes to dry, and then I'll have some pants. Alright, so I wanted to do a quick Q&A answering some of the questions that you guys were asking in the last video. A lot of the questions we kept seeing popping up over and over and over again, and we tried answering them in the comment section, but they just keep cropping up, and I thought it would be better to address them at the end of this video. So the very first question is, why don't you call Engineer 775? We have watched a lot of Scott's videos. We get a lot of inspiration from Scott on his channel over at Engineer 775. But to go and call up someone, a professional like Scott, whenever something breaks is kind of the antithesis of our channel and what we're trying to do here, which is to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. When there is a problem, we do try to fix it ourselves, try to come up with a solution ourselves that's going to work for us. We do know that a lot of the solutions that we are putting into place are temporary. That is intentional until we get our house built. If we wanted to have the system fixed properly, we called the well guy up. He would have fixed it for us for $2,500. We're trying to do it a whole lot cheaper than that so that we can invest that money into our house and into a new deep well. But do look forward to the next couple videos coming out where we are going to attempt to repair this current system. Now the second question that keeps getting brought up is you guys need a ram pump. For those of you guys that don't know, a ram pump is a mechanical pump that runs off of a pretty high flow stream. It requires a vertical drop of about 6.6 feet, at least for head, in order to get that ram pump to work, and then it has the ability to pump it up a hill, which is a good solution for a lot of different people. For our particular property, our spring is at the bottom of our property. It's at the lowest point of our property. There is no drop from that, so there is no way for us to run a ram pump. On top of that, they are pretty inefficient. They have about an 80% inefficiency rate. They're not really reliable. And plus, we have the wrong type of spring for running a ram pump. Ram pump, again, requires a natural flow. Our spring is a seep. So that really wouldn't work on our property. So that's why we do not do ram pumps. If you guys are interested in reading a little bit more about ram pumps, I will leave a link to an article by the Department of Agriculture down below in the description. You guys can check that out and see if ram pumps are good for you. The third question is, winter is coming. This temporary solution will not work for winter. Yes, we know that. That is why we keep stating over and over again that this is a temporary solution. This enables us to not have to go over to the neighbor's house and haul water. This enables us to not have to manually bend over into the well and haul out buckets of water. We're able to pump it into the 55-gallon drums, put it up here, and we have running water in our house. We're able to shower and just function fairly normally like we did today, which was running a load of laundry. We are working on the fixing the other problem, which has to do with the burnt wire and seeing if that other pump works. Another question is, why are you guys spending money on a well at all? Wells are very, very expensive. Why don't you just stick with rain barrels or just have some sort of water, or just continue to use your spring or use another type of catchment system? In our experience, in our personal opinion, water is the most valuable resource on this planet. It is irreplaceable, and having multiple sources of clean, potable water is a top priority, and you cannot spend enough money on having clean, potable water. For us, I would personally rather invest all my money into having a well than having electricity for the rest of my life. That is how important a nice, deep, solid well is for me. Now, having the spring as a backup is a good idea. Having water catchments, rain barrels, all that kind of stuff is also a good idea. But having to rely on those solely, not a great idea in our opinion. So we definitely want to do the deep well. And no, we're not going to be digging it by hand. Around here, to hit the aquifers, most people dig down to about 350, 375 feet. Definitely not going to be doing any of those by hand. We need a well digger. So the next question is a lot of people want to know if we are going to keep that natural spring as a backup source to our well, or keep this water catchment system as a backup to our well whenever we build a house. We will have multiple backup systems for our house other than the well. We will have a bunch of different fail-safes in place in case our well does fail or in case the pump does fail. However, it will not be this system, and it will not be the natural spring down below. We are planning on turning that natural spring into a pond at some point in the future, so stay tuned for that. Some people wanted to know, how do we charge the battery for the Seaflow pump that we have on the back of the pickup? We just use a battery charger for that and run it off of our house. And finally, the last question is about the snakes. A lot of people have made a lot of recommendations about putting weed killer down there to prevent snakes, or mothballs, or sulfur, or something similar to that. I want to stress the fact that this is our potable drinking water. We do not want to put any kind of chemicals or anything like that around our potable drinking water. In particular, again, our well is a seep well, meaning the water comes up from the groundwater. From the ground. It's not a flowing stream, so any chemicals or anything that gets stuck into that soil or in that particular vicinity, it's going to seep into our drinking water. We do not want to be consuming that. As far as putting those items around the rest of the property, we do have livestock, and again, that is a concern about potentially harming our livestock by putting some of those things in and around our area. We don't want to do that. All right, so in the next couple videos, we are going to be testing that pump that we pulled out of the spring, seeing if we can get it to work. We're gonna see if we can go get some 8-gauge wire, run it down there to the well, see if we can get this thing up and running again. So stay tuned for those videos coming out. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Get it off. This is like scuba diving. You're in a situation, scoop it and get out. You can do it. How do you feel after the morning after being a well troll?
Horrible. Hurts to move my arms. Hurts to move my leg. My back hurts for some weird reason. Feel kind of old. Is this how you feel?
Yeah.
Dang, it kind of sucks.